Hi, and welcome to today's Daily Adventure. I'm joining you from Dubai at the Microsoft Global Forum and pleased to be joined by Dr Mansoor Al Awar from the Hamdan bin Mohammed E-University, the first E-University in UAE.
Yes.
Thanks for joining today.
Thank you very much.
So you actually just presented. Talk a little bit about what you shared with the audience at the Global Forum today.
I have shared a concept that it is a prerequisite for whenever we offer kind of an ICT in education, and Microsoft is leading that front through this conference. Paving the ground is just to be able to prepare our learners, our students for what's coming up, the next generation, for and using technology in education. So the first thing is just to be able not just only to learn for life and work, but is the concept that I presented is learn to learn.
Yes.
Because only loving the knowledge will bring anything that you might expect into the education field, whether it is ICT, innovations, inventions, creativity, whatever you name it. But they need to be brought up, learn to learn, not just only learn to get a better job or learn to have a prestigious status or to be somebody.
I think that connection is, you describe it as a learner-centric approach to the way in which you drive the university.
Absolutely. The university has been led by having lifelong learning, because the ICT in education and smart learning is what brings the concept of lifelong learning. And that is actually, I would say, the ICT in education is going to revolutionize the higher education institutions, along with the general education schools as well. We have been, Anthony, talking about this concept since 2002. We were telling the people and the media overall, because they were a little bit reluctant what the ICT might bring to this part of the world.
Sure.
And we were telling them, guys, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. And those 4 questions is going to somehow give you an impression what is coming up in the near future. Shopping is essential, isn't it? They said yes. I told them that shopping malls, not anymore. And if you today, up to date, if you go to the biggest mall that we have in Dubai and ask the retailers how much you sell online versus the face-to-face selling, they say 60-40. 60% been people taking from those retailers online. Banking is essential, isn't it? They said yes. I said banks as brick and mortar, not anymore. Because you hardly even you remember what your signature looks like, because it's just all be done online. Mm-hmm. Then I said, as a consequence, I would claim that schooling is essential. Schools are not. Learning is essential. Universities are not. They were a little bit shocked at that day in 2002.
Sure.
But as technology emerges into education, I think this particular thing is coming as a natural thing to happen and evolving.
And your concept of really what it is creating a purposeful hunger to learn and to learn really lifelong and learn everywhere, anytime.
I claim those statements with an evidence, because we are doing it actually in Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. And believe it or not, I mean, we have come across a research that we have conducted, and next month they're going to be published, how the behavior of our learners did actually moved from people who look to knowledge as a certificate, to universities as getting a piece of paper, and into a person who loves to continue on. And in people who joined Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart Universities, I'm talking about the behavior in this region, in this geography of the world. People, they had only a target just to go for their bachelor. They said, no, we are more hunger to the knowledge, much more, to the master's level. People who have finished their master's degree, they say, well, I would like to continue in this, into the PhD. I think the behavior in terms of the love of knowledge is changing. Even the social behavior, Anthony, is becoming people much more disciplined, because when you love the knowledge, all the achievements is going to come behind it. It's going to be kind of bringing up, opening up the minds of our people. And I think I always been saying, minds work as a parachute. They're not going to be functional until they are open. And it's the same concept. And loving the knowledge is just bringing up the openness into the minds of our kids.
And this, from a foundational perspective, I think this is driving the kind of change that you see in your schools and your university. How can we learn from that across not only the UAE, but scale that across schools?
I think what we have to share in this interview, I think, with the rest of the world, that in 2002, when it was the first inception of our university, we have adopted something called 4Cs model to be able to align the lifelong learning and to put a mechanism under which people can adopt such an approach. For instance, we are promoting something called lifelong learning as in a smart university. But people have been talking about it for a long time, but we have put mechanism into place. We have invented something called 4Cs model. We have like a pyramid. We have something called casual learners.
Yes.
Those casual learners are society at large. Whoever comes in for a conference, for a public seminar, for a workshop, whatever it is, he becomes a learner for Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. And then when you go one level up, it's called committed learners and committed by their employers. We're talking about professional development.
Okay.
In this geography, I mean, the professional development did not have any value before. Now it's becoming much more significant in terms of upgrading the competencies and capabilities of of the society.
Right.
One step further, we're going to go to concentrated learners, the third C. Those people who are acquiring the accredited qualifications, bachelor, master's, PhD, at the top of the pyramid, who are continuing learners. Those are the executives and executive education. So if you see the pyramid, Tony, this is what we are doing. Unlike other traditional universities, our deans of the schools are responsible to report on the 4Cs, not just only one, because they get attached to the society.
Yes.
And that is why our research indicates that the problem in the universities in this part of the world, that they're not contributing to the growth of the economy at all. On the contrary, they are providing bulk of unemployment. And unemployment never will become a positive parameter in any growth, in any economy around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is why universities are somehow, they need to change their behavior, their organizational behavior. That is why the 4Cs model is compulsory into our system, becoming a DNA for deans of the schools, rather than just to concentrate on one type of learners who are acquiring accredited qualifications. They are responsible for the 4Cs, and the e-learning is getting at that edge.
I love the 4Cs model because it focuses on one of the things I think we don't do enough on in education is really understand the motivation for students.
Yes.
On why they're learning, why they're pursuing the
Exactly.
knowledge, etc. I'm curious if you've done things differently with your courseware, your technology usage, your maybe your instructors at the different levels, and sort of are there different dynamics or different expectations of engagement, different collaboration tools across the stack? Because I imagine there may be different needs that each of the four buckets have.
Of course. I mean, when you go, the most problematic part is the concentrated learners who are acquiring accredited qualifications, because there are lots of accreditation criteria and standards they have to meet, and they have to be very, very careful when they go about the quality of learning which is happening within the accredited qualifications. It becomes much less rigorous when you go to the casual learners, for instance.
Yes, of course.
And that is why we have invented something called Cloud Campus. Cloud Campus is open, as an application is open for everyone in the society. Whether they are parents, for instance, socializing education. So whether they are parents in-house, they just can be able to polish their business skills, like communication, leadership, teamwork, and so on and so forth. They might be able to enhance in terms of the language the language skills, other than Arabic, for instance, English, French, or the Arabic for the non-Arabic speakers. And then the third component, which is very, very crucial at the moment, is the school content. And in the areas like math, science, and technology, providing the academic support 24/7. So that means that you are somehow enhancing the accessibility rate.
Sure.
In terms of knowledge. And especially in the Arab world we're talking, not just only the United Arab Emirates. And accessibility to the knowledge is a key thing, and accessibility, flexibility, affordability as well, because not all people are rich to be able to acquire such a high standard, mode of technology to be used. So they need to be able to adapt. So I think, yes, we do have for different players in the 4Cs, different setup in terms of technology.
Great.
And what we are doing actually in the university, we are adopting in the bachelor, master's, PhD, the accredited qualifications, a blended model approach. We have adopted a blended model approach because our research indicated that we need to have a transitional period before we go for full throttle. Now, Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University, certain programs are going to be by September, next fall, we're have a full throttle online because we have gone through 12 years of transitional.
That's great. Now you've had a bold vision for change and been a leader from 2002. Your vision has sort of taken shape. What advice, what guidance, maybe what vision do you have as we start in 2015 going forward?
I think I'm talking about on the region that I represent, which is the Arab world. I think we need to take education in a region of geography with United Nations statistics show that we have 40% of illiteracy. And I think it's a good time now to be able to partner with people who are actually developing, enhancing the technology used in education, like Microsoft and others, to be able to cater for that 40% of illiteracy. We have a huge challenge in this part of the world. And the only solution out it lies into the smart learning. And thanks God that the technology has now enabling us to be able to reach out for the people who were illiterate, 40%, because traditional education, conventional education, would take us another 500 years, 5 centuries to be able to do it. Now, in no time, we can do it. And that is where the post-2015 education is going to do, because we are socializing education at the moment, and we need to reach out to those 40%, and we're going to do it in 2021. Wow. And I think it's a huge challenge, but we are very, very committed and determined to do it.
That's great, and I appreciate that, and we have to work together to make that happen.
Of course.
And thanks for your leadership and the vision that you've had and the impact that you've had with your university and really across the UAE on driving education change.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining today's Daily Adventure.
Thank you very much.